Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and I have a Crown Jewel match card review. And actually, pretty solid PLE. We haven't been used to that lately. We've had either just a few matches sprinkled in throughout the year that's been phenomenal. Other than that, it's just been like, okay, well, this one sucked, this one sucked, this one, this. And we're just kind of surprised by it. So we're going to give our review here and kind of just talk about the matches in general and what each of them brings because there is a lot that came from this PLE and like I think will be the future of a couple storylines at least. Not much because this was kind of a random one where it was like we had the two Crown Jewel matches but no other title matches, which is kind of weird. I would feel like there's got to be some type of stat where there's been no other title matches on a PLE before because this just feels very interesting, and that's why I feel like it's a pretty solid PLE. Like they survived that without having any title matches. I mean, the Crown Jewel stuff is a title match, but it's like more of an achievement, like winning the Royal Rumble than like or the Elimination Chamber than this. But we're gonna jump into it. So right off the bat, we had Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns in an Australian street fight. Don't really know why they had to do the street fight because it felt like they very rarely used anything. Like a no DQ match would have worked just the same because they definitely didn't go to that level of brutality to use really anything because mainly it was the table spot at the very end, and they used like even in this picture that I have here, the stop sign, and that's basically it. There wasn't really much of anything that needed to have uh, the street fight thing, but uh, overall, I felt like this match was going to suffer from what it ended up suffering from. Was going to have a bloated ending because we were going to have the Usos come down, Braun Breaker come down, and that's exactly what happened. And it did tell a good story. I do feel like if you're going to talk about like the best story being told on these matches, this was probably what maybe third best. I mean, that's still pretty solid. But with Jey Uso accidentally spearing Roman Reigns into the table, costing him the match, I think was the perfect way to end it because I feel like they really needed to give Bronson Reed this win. Like he desperately needed it. So like him not been able to like him needing something extra, like having like where something else takes out Roman Reigns being such a big name, that's fine, he'll take the win because he's a heel, and that works out perfectly for him because people like Bronson Reed's a little underrated with like at least victories. I mean, he has a victory over Okada, and like this is only the second person to pin Roman Reigns in a long time since I was since Cody, like in the singles action, and just in general, it's been a long time for what Baron Corbin before that. There's a very small list, so I thought like if they were gonna do this, was the way to do it. They did, but overall, the match was nothing special. It really wasn't. They really didn't do anything. There was some brutal spots, but nothing really too crazy for the two people in there. I figured they would have a little bit more brutality, especially with the Usos coming down, because they could have doled out the pain to everybody. Even Braun Breaker taking his extra spears was nothing too crazy that he's already done. So I'd put this in a C. It was a little bit of a bloated explanation just to put it so low, but I was trying to, sometimes I like talk it out and try to hope that I could like, you know what, actually I like this better, and then it just didn't work. Next up would be Stephanie versus Tiffany Stratton for the Crown Jewel Women's Championship. This one I feel like is weird because I've seen this is the lowest rated match on most people. A cage match has the second lowest, but everybody has this as the worst match of the night. Honestly, the only reason I would like even say anything really bad about it, it's 10 minutes. The Bronson Reed match, 21 minutes. John Cena, 27. The tag match, almost 20 minutes. Seth and Cody, almost 30 minutes. Based off of that, and just that alone, a 10-minute match is insane to have there. I mean, you could literally have trimmed anything, especially being the second match out there. Like, if it was fourth and they had a certain run time, then they knew they were going to do stuff for the main event, it would make a lot of sense. But this makes no sense not to give them more. And I know maybe they haven't had any type of work together, but I don't think that really matters too much in a PLE setting. They had plenty of time to set that up and figure it out, but I don't know. It didn't feel It didn't feel right for me. I really do feel like they should have gave them at least an extra, 5 to 10 minutes because it would have fit the card and everything else in it. So I personally believe that this match is probably one of the better like technical standing matches, and I really do feel like Stephanie pulled out a lot of good stuff out there. I do feel like Stephanie also had a little bit of an extended move set, like that cartwheel into the Alabama Slam. That was very beautiful and like worked out really well. But it's like I don't even feel like there's a lot of stuff to rate in this match because of how small it was. I do like it better than the first match, and I would have it slightly higher. I'm gonna put it in B. I personally liked it. I like Stephanie a lot, so it was a no brainer to have it up there. But I just feel like that time limit is really what drew it along. I think if you would have made it longer and gave them more time to do stuff, it would have been better. Then we had John Cena and AJ Styles for the last time ever, especially because AJ Styles is retiring next year too. So this was kind of like the start of maybe like his retirement path. He doesn't have a real timetable. It's just next year at some point. This match I think it's a guilty pleasure match. Like anybody who has this in a super high category, it's completely correct because this is one of those things where they did so much like all the finishers that like honored other wrestlers and honored their opponents, and it was perfect. Like it wasn't the best match that you've ever seen, but if you're looking for just a fun match to watch, this is it because it feels like it's two kids wrestling because it's like these are just I'm spamming all of the superstars I like moves against each other. There's just something nostalgia about it, but it's not even like nostalgia baiting, which a lot of people get stuck on, and even like this John Cena run has kind of been there sometimes. This is just the perfect way to do it. It felt like two friends just having fun out there doing stuff, and everybody just happened to be watching. The crowd was electric with it, so also brought it when they were chanting the 619, and John Cena thinking that he was going to try to do it was just great. I think that was just such a good touch, and every finish and everything that they did, it was just great. This is an S tier match. I would not be surprised also if this somehow sneaked into like the star rating as a 5-star match, just because like there was just so much to grade on it and everything just looked so good. They did everything so great for like these finishers that they didn't even have, and I don't know. This will forever be for the year probably just one of the most like fun matches. Like if you're just looking for a fun match, because there is no other match that I've ever seen that has that many just crazy finishers from everybody else, and it works out. Next up, we had Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus the Kabuki Warriors. This match, I felt like obviously the storyline has been the best out of everything that we've seen, and I think it definitely delivered here. Io by far was the best worker here, but everybody really turned up because a lot of people that don't really know like Stardom as much, they really don't like Kyrie Sanders, say like she's not that great, but when she's in the element of being to face other like Joshi wrestlers, she's phenomenal because she knows exactly how to work. She doesn't have to worry about certain stuff. She knows she goes out there, because that's the thing with like Japanese women's wrestling. I mean, it's Japanese wrestling in general, is that they're hard strikes, and when they face people that aren't used to those hard strikes, I think they have to like pull their punches a little bit. When we're facing each other, they're going all out. That drop kick to the face that Io did to Asuka, like all of that was great. And a lot of people, what I saw online, really didn't like this match. I really don't know why. I don't know how you could just not like this match. The team up is great. I really do feel we're gonna get Io versus Asuka at some point. I would be completely utterly happy about that because it's gonna be a phenomenal match. And this was just great. I mean, the storyline is just so red hot that I don't know how you don't put it super high up there. So I put it up in A tier. I wouldn't quite put it in S tier because I know they definitely had some chemistry issues in the middle of the match. It kind of like dragged. I don't like when they have those long tags where it takes forever for somebody to come in there because, you know, I feel like there's just like I like the flow of a normal tag match, and it really helps the wrestlers get a little bit over. It's just like a lot of it just came down to like, oh, just Io getting beaten down for like 3 4 minutes, and it just to me drags the match. But that's just me personally. But overall, I still thought it was a really solid match. Next up, we had Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship. This was a weird match to me to a certain extent. Both of these wrestlers are some of my favorite men's wrestlers, so I was in heaven to see this matchup. I do feel like it had a very just slow, methodical start. I like just kind of was watching and I didn't like I wasn't like pumped up yet. And then maybe about the 8 to 10 minute mark, it started, picking up and it started getting in there. So it was just a little bit of a slow start. I think overall it was just one of those matches that was just you watch it and you just let it play out because it's going to be solid and it's just they have great in-ring chemistry to just put on a match where it just seems seamless with two guys just going at it. But I think it was a pretty solid match. I think I would put it up in A. I think overall, with it being also kind of a semi clean ending until the watch thing, I thought was pretty good because it told the story of like Seth Rollins struggling to just he needed to do it himself, and he didn't need to do it with the vision. He just had to be the leader and win that. I think the storyline helped out really well, and it played out pretty well through the actual match because he got the watch. He was gonna cheat. He decided not to, and then he at the very end he's like, I need to get that little bit of an edge, and it protects Cody really well. And I think they did everything solid. So I'd put it up in A tier. I thought it was a really good story match, and it had a really good lead up to. And like I said, I'm a little biased because it's both wrestlers I really like. But yeah, if you guys like these type of reviews, we do it for all the events. And yeah, I'll guys see you guys next time. Bye guys.